Now, this is me telling it secondhand. I don't usually like to tell stories that I wasn't there for or involved in, but this was very well known. They were having a meeting. This is when he was straightened out and Skinny Dom was his captain. There was a bar called Characters, and the guy that used to drive for Ronnie owned that bar, or family owned that bar. So they set up a meeting, and it was on Crossway Boulevard. And it was Skinny Dom, Ronnie One Arm, and Vinny Asara. So it must have been some kind of Gambino, Bonanno neighborhood. Because that's most of the time it was either Vinny or Ronnie, in Ozone Park and Howard Beach. That was, they were the two with the most power. Columbo's occasions didn't really hold that much power in Ozone Park and Howard Beach. So they're in the bar, and whatever they're having sit down about or talk about between them, and they never got along. One, Skinny Dom is always, I don't even like to say his name. That guy is one of the grouchiest guys that you've ever met. Never in a good mood. Was always yelling at somebody. Again, Ronnie, you never seen him in a good mood. And Vinny and Sarah hated everybody. So this is like...
This is just a mixed pot of just ready to blow.
This is a disaster, right, waiting to happen. And there's some guys in the back. And then Ronnie's driver was there as well, whose family owned the bar. And then there's a bunch of guys in the back shooting pool, acting rowdy. And now, I think they were from Rockaway, because, it's the connection. A bunch of Irish guys, if I'm not mistaken. And acting rowdy. There was a lot of them, more than what they had. And these are older gentlemen. They're not, no spring chickens. Ronnie might have been the youngest. So, how don't you know who one of these guys are? Nevertheless, all of them, right? It's like, does everybody else live in the bubble, or do we live in the bubble? Like, I never understood it. Because, like, when I left the life, meaning that I didn't want to live like that anymore, so I didn't pay attention to who's the upcoming mafia guy, didn't live by the laws, didn't shop at the bait, just like leaving that life in general, not just, not talking about the mafia, just living that kind of life. Like, certain neighborhoods just still live that kind of life, even if you're not in the mafia. Like, so is it they're living in the bubble, or are they living, like, it's hard to understand, because I had no idea when I left that bubble what the fuck everybody else was talking about and doing. Like, I felt like I had comprehension problems, but not reading, listening to somebody. Like, I needed somebody to explain to me what that person was saying. In a lot of conversations that I had with people, it's like, what do you, and it's not like an educated conversation. It's just like, where did you even learn to talk like that? Like, who even understands you? I couldn't, and there was a lot of people like that. I was talking to a CEO once, and I was like, do you have an assistant that can explain to me what you just said? Like, very, very weird. So I never understood who lived in the bubble. Was it us or was it them? So they had no idea who they were. Right away, somebody bumps into Vinny going to the bathroom. Vinny is ready to fight at 80, 90 years old. Didn't matter. He gets into with one of them. So Characters was in a parking lot, like a mini mall, but maybe there was like one other store in that parking lot. So it was like a long parking lot where like the cars would park, but there was nobody there. And they said, let's take it outside, Vinny said. So you got Vinny, captain in the Bonanno family, Ronnie, main guy in the Gambino family, Skinny Dom, captain in the Gambino family, like the most powerful guys in like the 5 boroughs, go out into the parking lot to fight these 6 or 7 young guys.
Vinny Asaro is old, right?
Yeah, he's old.
How old is he at this point?
Maybe in his 60s.
Okay, so we're dealing with like an older man.
Yeah,
like,
so you're talking about, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So like 30 years ago. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what was Ronnie in his 50s? Maybe 50 or 40, late 40s, whatever it was. And probably Skinny Dom's maybe a few years in between. He always looked old anyway. And then Ronnie's driver. We're in the parking lot. Now, this is Crossway Boulevard. So if anybody drives by and sees one of these guys fight, they're going to pull over and be like, are you fucking nuts? And you got these 3 old guys fighting these 6, 7 young guys in the parking lot of a bar at like 8 o'clock at night. Like it's a fucking Sunday afternoon movie. Because a couple people did drive by. So I heard the story from a few different people. One guy got out, a girl drove by, stopped, witnessed it. I heard the story from that. Because who's rolling on the floor, you would never see these guys. Like, I would pay to see a video of guys in that position, those guys rolling around with 6 or 7 young guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, these were guys that didn't know any better. But you're talking about in Howard Beach. Like, somebody's got to know. Or you got to say to yourself, what are 3 old guys doing in an empty bar? And they're with the guy behind the bar, is with them. There's got to be somebody.
There's no connection, right? These putting together.
No what?
They're not putting a connection together.
Yeah, but you're in Howard Beach. You got to put something together.
Yeah, no, I know.
One of these guys is somebody.
They're dressed to the nines, right? They're in suits.
They're always in suits at night.
Right. So doesn't that stand out to them? Like if they're wearing like these expensive suits, the gold watches, that like you'd think like if Ross and I saw that, wouldn't you saw 3 old men?
I'm not gonna fight old men first.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Like they were probably our ages now.
It's a mob neighborhood.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or my age now. You know. No, but I don't think Skinny Dom dressed up a lot. Vinny did. I don't know if that was, but Ronnie was one of those guys. During the day, he wore a sweatsuit, and at night he wore dress clothes.
They looked the part, though. You know what I mean?
That's my point.
Yeah.
But not even looking the part. You're in Howard Beach in the 90s.
Right.
Who else is going to be in a bar in Howard Beach but a connected guy, a knockaround guy?
Right.
Maybe a what? At minimum, an associate. You know what I mean?
So
you're not in Richmond Hill. You're in Howard Beach.
So they're out there fist fighting, brawling?
Fist fight, rolling around on the asphalt in the parking lot, everything. This went on until a few people stopped, helped them, got them up, boom, and then the cops came.
Helped who?
Ronnie and they knew who they. You know, people drive by and you see, you got to take a double look and stop. You go, wait a second, is that Ronnie one of them rolling around with 2 guys in a headlock? You know what I mean? Like whatever. You know, you just got to be, you know. You expect that from Vinny. Vinny used to fight all the time. The guy was nuts. You know, to the park, and he's playing racquetball, and within the first couple points of the game, he's hitting somebody over the head with the racket.
Are you just like at this point, like if I already know that, and you know, there's a lot of tough guys everywhere. You know, I'm not saying like whatever, but why am I putting myself into position to get hit in the head with a racket? I'll just say I'm done for the day.
I never understood. But those are the guys that answer back. I'm like, he's going to hit you over the head with something. Why don't you just let him win the conversation?
Yeah.
I never understand that about people. Why are you egging a guy on that you know you're not going to fight, you know you're not going to hit back, and you know he's going to hit you in the head with a pool stick if we're in a club or whatever we're in? It's like, and guys just love punishment.
What happened with that? When the fight, people came and helped Ronnie and Vinny.
Nothing, that was it. Nothing really happened.
I would think like this, people are hearing this and they're thinking these 2 of the most powerful captains at the time, right? You would be thinking that these guys would be running back wherever and calling up their guys to go kill these young guys that they just got to fight with because they felt the disrespect. Because you can't put your hands on a made guy, right?
If you know he's a made guy. You know what I mean? And they took it as like, because now I'm hearing about it afterwards, they felt like young guys, like it was a ballroom brawl. No, I'm sure if somebody got hurt, I don't know how Skinny Dom took it, but I knew how Vinny and Ronnie took it because I heard their side. I was never privy to a private conversation with Skinny Dom.
Yeah.
But that's like Ronnie, I've seen him do that a dozen times. If a guy was disrespectful and the guy knew who he was being disrespectful to, there's no, the end of the earth you couldn't go to get Ronnie to stop chasing you.
You go to prison and you think that your people would have your back. No, they don't have your back. Instead, my mother's paying for my commissary money. How the is that? I'm supposed to be happy about this right now? I'm supposed to be coming home jolly? Really? I'm sitting in prison, I can't get $1 from them? I'm blowing up cop cars, doing all this shit for them, and I get nothing out of this. What did I get out of this? A reputation? What the good did that do me? I come home, I got clowns I'm answering to now, which I'll never respect or fucking recognize. They can send me all they want, but thanks a lot, I ain't going. So put a hit on me. You ain't killing shit anyway.